Morgan Baskin. She ran for the position of Mayor of Toronto at age 18, and we are going to talk to her about her experience today. Welcome, Morgan. First off, what made you decide you wanted to run for mayor?
I wish there was like a big, great lightning moment when I was like, yes, this is it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run for mayor. There was no magic moment. It was really a combination of things, and it really became that I wanted to see young people represented in government, and I felt that someone needed to run in this election, and no one was stepping up to the plate. And I think it's important when you want something done and you don't see other people doing it to do it. So I decided to run, but it was a long process of, having the idea kind of as like a joke and something I didn't think I was going to do. And then moving towards, kind of doing research and then being like, okay, actually, this is a real thing I'm really going to do.
Okay, great. So was there ever an issue that you felt really passionate about that wasn't being addressed other than youth that impacted your decision?
I think again, unfortunately, it's a mixture of things. I felt really strongly about transit funding and about the decisions that were being made around transit, especially in terms of a downtown relief line and in terms of a Scarborough subway or an LRT. And those pieces, which I think is really important, and those are kind of going to be the big decisions of our time and of the next 4 years.
Definitely. Yeah. Were you treated with respect by the other candidates? How did they perceive you? Because there's people like Rob Ford who are known to be a little bit iffy when it comes to the treatment of people.
I think in terms of to my face, everyone was incredibly respectful. And when people were asked about me in the media, people were, of course, incredibly respectful. Olivia Chow was incredibly supportive, especially, after the election. She named me as her second choice if there were ranked ballots, which is very nice of her. And John Tory was incredibly supportive. I saw him the morning after the election, and he told me to stay in politics, and that was really important. I can't vouch for anyone who when I wasn't in their presence, but definitely when I was, people were incredibly supportive.
That's great. That is great to hear. How did you fit such a big initiative into your schedule? Because this is a lot of people take it on as a full-time job, and you obviously had a lot of other things.
For the first few months, so I filed at the end of February. So from March to kind of the middle of June, I was also in high school. So that was a little tough. I was taking 3 classes, and my marks definitely took a bit of a hit. Fortunately, running for mayor looks pretty great on a resume, so the marks are less crucial. I still graduated an Ontario Scholar.
That's great.
But I think that it was about time management, and also there's like no magic answer. Stuff totally fell off my plate, and I was a totally terrible friend and a totally terrible, daughter, and I never did the dishes, and I never made dinner, and I was pretty much useless, and I never showed up to hang out with my friends, and I forgot their birthdays, and there's no possible way. It became life consuming, and that was what I did for 8 months. Really through the summer and the fall, that was my life.
Yeah. You ran a big campaign, and you were in the media a lot. Do you feel that a lot of media outlets focused on your age as opposed to your merit?
For sure, but I think it's a double-edged sword, right? If they had focused on my merit, would I have gotten as much media attention? I was, at the end of the day, a high school student and then a high school graduate running to run the biggest city in the country with no BA, no political experience, right? And I think that could have been detrimental. And also, my age got me a lot of media coverage, which got me further media coverage because that's how that works. And that attention was invaluable to my campaign, and probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been 18 and then 19 during the campaign.
Yeah. So when you told your friends and your family that you were going to run for mayor, how did they react? Were they positive or?
It was mixed for sure. My dad was kind of like, okay, that's nice. I'm sure it's gonna be great. He jokes that, at the beginning of the campaign, he was like, I'm going to be supportive because, you're my daughter. And then it was like, no, I'm going to be supportive because I actually think you're good at this. And you're really bringing up issues, and you're really bringing kind of optimism and hope to this campaign where there wasn't any before. And that was really important. And I think it was really interesting to watch my friends and family kind of make that switch between supporting me because I was, their friend or their daughter or their niece, and supporting me because they actually thought it was important, and then I was running a campaign that was important to the future of this city. For my friends, more than anything, I have a really big habit of taking on giant projects. And it was another, oh, Morgan's doing another big thing. It's fine. She'll be done eventually. And that'll just be a thing that she does for a while. And it was. And then it was over, and I'm back to being regular Morgan and looking for another project.
Have you been involved with political projects before going into this? That kind of?
Not formally. I mean, my family has a pretty big activism background, and I definitely was involved kind of through my family previously. But I wasn't taking on things of my own initiative for the most part. And I definitely wasn't involved, in any formal campaign or electoral politics before my campaign. I had never volunteered on a campaign, and I'd never, been a member of a party or anything like that.
Yeah. So after this big initiative that most people in politics would never even dream of kind of taking on, you took it on at such a young age. Did it like ignite a fire in politics, like a passion, I guess, in politics that you want to pursue?
No.
No?
I still have a lot of the same passions, but those are all really issue-based, which I think is a really millennial thing to say. I think that I really believe that young people right now are really issue-based. We care a lot about very specific issues. We care about youth unemployment, and we care about poverty, and we care about global warming, and we care about, public transit. We care about those pieces, because we're not buying cars, so public transit's really important to us. We can't afford cars. Having jobs is important to us, shockingly. And I still really care about the issues that I brought up in my campaign, and those are all, when I talked about, a digital city, when I talked about a green city, when I talked about a global city, those things are still important to me, and young people are still really important to me. But politics in general, I have a lot of passion for electoral politics, and especially for electoral reform. But I don't know what that'll look like. I haven't suddenly found this desire to run in every election I can, because I think it's really important that people run for elections that they feel they can make change with, and for that they feel that that's the best way to get their message across. And for me, that's the choice I made in this past election, and I think it was the right choice, and I'm glad I did that. But I think you have to take every election as it comes and not say, I could promise right now that I was going to run for council in 4 years, but who knows what this board's going to look like in 4 years.
So what's next for you?
I have no idea. I've been accepted to university for the fall, and so I'll probably do that. Otherwise, I'm trying not to make huge amounts of plans. I think that my life was very structured for 8 months, and before that, I was a high school student for 5 years, because I did a 5th year. So, and those things overlapped in a time frame. And so when the election finished, I'm really ready to do some other things. I worked seasonal retail, and I poured a lot of energy and effort into a Christmas pageant that's a very large Christmas pageant that I've always been a part of, and I did that. And right now I'm writing and doing some other work pieces and things like that, but I'm trying not to make any grand plans.
Okay, great. I wish you luck on whatever you decide to do. That is it for Politalks on RPTV. Thank you very much, Morgan, for
Thank you for having
coming
me.
in. Thank you.